Hello and welcome back. Today's video is actually a podcast that Afaq and I filmed and recorded, obviously, podcast. It's been on his channel for a few days now and we thought we could put it on mine as well, seeing as it's me talking about mental health and the general stuff I usually talk about. Bit of a stuck record. But make sure to go and support Afaq's channels, Ambitious Odyssey, on YouTube and I think on Spotify and podcasty websites. Uneducated I am, but yeah, he does really cool stuff as well. I'm not the first person he's sort of done one with, so go support. Thank you.
Yes, welcome back to episode 9 of my podcast Ambitious Odyssey. Today I am joined by a very talented and creative friend of mine. Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name's Maddie, but Madeline Rose online.
Madeline Rose. So would you like to tell the people what you do, or
what do I do?
what don't you do? That's the question. That's the question.
Well, I suppose currently YouTube-ish.
Okay.
I mean, I do other things amongst that. I'm how much in depth should I go? Not that in depth.
I don't know.
I'm currently doing a traineeship as
Amazing.
a assistant sport coach in a school. I'm also in recovery for mental health. So that takes up a lot of time, and then on the side I do YouTube and talk about those topics really.
Incredible. Me and Maddie, man, we go back a lot. I met you during my official first job at Adventure Island, and we've just been following each other ever since, because you were studying film and you were telling me that your dad is a photographer, so I was like, wow, this is incredible. Then I found you on Instagram and I saw that you had a YouTube channel, so I was like, this is incredible. I want to be surrounded by like-minded people, so it was only right I had to get you on the podcast and do this episode, because I feel like your story can help a lot of people and motivate. Let's hope. We can only hope. But today's episode, we're going to be talking about Maddie's story. It revolves around, I don't know if do you want to go into it or introduce it?
You can introduce it.
So how, just Maddie's mental health journey so far, the trials and tribulations, and how she's been able to better herself over these years, what she's done to be in the place where she's at now, just like a good episode about her and the experiences that she's been going through and is going to go through. So I'm super stoked to be joined by you, man. I'm kind of nervous though, low key.
I'm nervous.
You're not nervous, no? I just wanted to put that out there because it's a podcast. It's the first time we're recording this too, so you guys know I'm not playing around. The lens is oh my goodness, don't even get me started on the lens. But I just wanted to start off by asking about the video you made. Was it yesterday or?
Came out yesterday, yeah.
Came out yesterday. And would you like to talk about the BBD?
Yeah.
That is for the people that don't know.
Yeah. So I have borderline personality disorder, and yesterday's video was asked from my psychologist to make about sort of what living with BPD is like, and how sort of staff working with people with BPD should sort of act and treat us.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's super cool. And tell us just about your mental health journey so far, going back a year. What was it like for you then compared to now?
A year ago it was very different. I got diagnosed May last year, and before diagnosis, and I suppose the following 6 months was hard. It was no one really understood it, and everyone thought I was just crazy.
Right. That's happened to me too.
Yeah. Because it's not as easy as something like depression, where it's just kind of one thing in a way. Depression is feeling down and hopeless and clinical, where you don't get out of bed and you don't motivation. Whereas this BPD is like that, plus being super motivated and happy, and being super empty and lonely, and then it's super angry, and it is every emotion like times 100. So I just look like some hormonal person. God. So sorry, but since then, well, I suppose this time last year was when I sort of started getting into doing like actual like therapeutic work.
Sure.
And I've been in a few groups now, and where I'm at now, I mean, I know a lot about it. I know how to manage it a lot better now. Everything's just a lot more settled. I'm on medication, which helps.
Yeah.
So you're doing a bit better.
Doing a bit better?
Yeah.
A bit better or like a lot better?
I suppose a lot, but I feel like there's still more to go. So
for sure.
I don't want to say like I am better, because
for sure.
like I'm sure there's.
You're always striving to be better.
Yeah.
Which is like the thing which attracted me, because like what made you like just switch and be like, you know what, I need to like change my circumstances? What was that like? Like that light bulb moment?
I mean, it was sort of like it was like something that built up. Like this time last year was, I mean, literally within the next month will be like, I suppose it's a pivotal moment, is that the right word?
Yeah, sure.
For like, shit got real.
Okay.
Because I think it was beginning of November last year was when I got kicked out. And shit hit the fan. And there was a whole other ball game of problems. And it was sort of toward like November, December was like, this can't get much worse. And it was like, nah, I can't do this no more. And I remember, like, I've never been into like New Year's resolutions, but I wrote a long list.
Really?
Yeah. And like up the top was like, join the gym. And then second was like, enjoy the gym. Like, I didn't want it to be like a punishment, which I think a lot of people get into. Like, it needed to be something that was going to be positive, otherwise I won't stick to it. Everything in my life, if I've tried, and if I've had like a negative mindset about it, it's gone wrong, and then that's led on to more negative behaviours because it feels like you fail something, and then you're just going to keep going down that pathway.
I can relate so much, for sure.
Yeah.
Going back on that resolutions list, do you think you've like kept to some of those resolutions, or?
Oh yeah. I mean, I had like some silly ones, like learn how to do nails.
Really?
Yeah, because like at the end of last year, like I actually did buy like all the stuff,
I did.
And I started practicing it, but then I think other things just took over, like priority wise, and I was like, I ain't got time to learn how to do nails.
Yeah.
But like I would happily go back to it because it was like kind of fun. But yeah, I think gym and that definitely stayed at the top and still is prevalent. And then obviously, I remember like I think one of them was like by the end of the year, so that's coming up, be able to recognise progress. That was like one of the last ones.
Wow, that's crazy. Like, I don't really have New Year's resolutions. It's like, with me, I know as cliche as it sounds, every day is a new day. So I just treat it like, okay, this is a new day. I need to be better than I was yesterday or last week.
Yeah, I've definitely adopted that mindset.
For sure. I think people give themselves these like deadlines and stuff, and they're just buying more time.
Yeah.
I'm not like saying you were, but it's like most people I'm surrounded by. Oh, I'm gonna wait till so and so this month to really do what I need to do. For me, like just kept on delaying stuff, because I've done it in the past. Like I wrote down stuff I want to achieve this year, and it never happened because I just kept on pushing it. Like when January came, like February. So I adopted the mindset where I was like, you know what, if I want to do something and I'm hungry for it, I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah, I think I was definitely like that towards the end of the year. Like, I was sort of like about the putting it off. And that's why like New Year's was like, okay, this is it. Because over Christmas I kept talking about joining the gym, and I was like, I want to join the gym. And it was actually one of the big things was always the price of the membership. And one of the groups I was in, someone said about this gym that's £10 a month, and I was like, I can afford that. And then that was like, and then literally in December I kept going, yeah, I'm going to join the gym, and like with sort of the putting it off, I was like, I'm going to do it New Year. But literally like January 2nd I joined. And
January 2nd.
Yeah, we had one day off tonight for the hangover. And then like, and then the 2nd of January I've been going every week since.
Every week since. How has the gym exercise been, how has it played a part in your journey so far? Like how has it been for the better for you so far in your journey?
Yeah, I mean, it started off as just like, I need to change something, and it was kind of like, I didn't have much to do in my weeks because I wasn't working or at college or uni or whatever. So it was like, I needed somewhere to go as well as do something, like I can go for free, because like money's a thing. So it's like, I can afford £10 a month, I'm going to go there and work out, and also it gets me out of the house for like an hour. So it was like, they were like my main things first, and like obviously everyone says about mental health, and I never really like believed in it, like that exercise can help. But I went because it was like those two things, was like get out of the house, have something to do, and then exercise whilst you're there. And then I think those two things kept me going at first, because it's like, I feel more productive, and I didn't feel so embarrassed that everyone would go off to work and I just sit there doing nothing and just stew. And then when, not that weight is everything, but I last year put on a lot of weight from literally doing nothing. So losing weight was like, okay, this is kind of cool then. Like, and I was like very like keen not to make it a negative thing, because I've been in that mindset before, like with food and body image and that. Yeah. And so I was like, I'm not going to let me go that way. And like in the beginning, I think I felt myself slip a little bit, and I was like, nah, come back. And we're like,
love it.
And then so that was like a bonus. And then I don't know, I think it just became more of like a social event as well, because like my friends would go. Yeah, and then we like, oh, should we go and get like a Starbucks after?
Yeah.
And so it became more of like an event of the day. So then it became something quite nice. And then what happened after that? I don't know. I just got really into it and started enjoying it. I felt better mentally, because I never believed it, and I was like, oh shit, they weren't lying. And so yeah, I think all that kind of, and then as I got more into it, I started like researching it and like getting into certain exercises and what you can do to build muscle. And I've got like into that.
Wow.
And then
you're not playing any games?
No, I don't know. It's just like progressively grown more of like a passion. And I never thought that'd be me, because I hated PE in school.
Yeah. Can't relate with that.
But I think that stems from like a lot of mental issues in school, because I remember like as a kid I used to dance. I was dancing since I was 2, swim, played badminton. I always wanted to be in school teams. Didn't really.
So you were quite active?
Yeah, I always wanted to. And then it was like senior school hit. I suddenly, as kids do, you get conscious, and then had other mental stuff going on where I wanted to hide specific places of my arms, and and in PE stuff you can't, because it's all short sleeves. So then I just sort of backed away from sport completely, to the point where I was like writing my own letters so I didn't have to do it. And then so I just hated it, and then getting back into it, I don't know. And then I suppose the last motivation that I'm now rolling with now is at my mental health centre. I started seeing an employability guy to sort of try and get me back into either learning or work or whatever.
Amazing.
And he knew I liked the gym, so he was sort of going down that avenue and found this traineeship as an assistant sport coach, which I'm now doing. Doing in a primary school. So that's even more motivation. Like if I'm going to be teaching it, I need to like up my game, make sure I'm like
the best version of yourself.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at now. Sport.
Sport, that's incredible. And you also make content. Not just like not my videos. Like my videos aren't anything there to yours. But you also make YouTube videos, and has that also been like a therapeutic outlet for you in terms of just getting better?
Yeah, obviously I had the Mad series last year.
Yeah, yeah.
Not many people realised it was a pun on my name. Did you realise?
Wow.
Did you not realise?
I did.
You did?
I did. I'm not gonna lie, I did.
Because I had some people didn't realise that it was a pun because my name's Madeline.
When I first saw it, I was like, she's funny. Like, wow.
But it was a pun because it was like my maddest time.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Mentally, not like.
I thought it was like,
fun.
okay, that's perfect. Like I was waiting for her to finally implement that. So.
Yeah. So we had the Mad series last year, which I feel like I'm some film director. Like I had this series.
Mad series episode.
Yeah, I think I did like 97-ish days straight.
That's incredible.
If people don't know, it was daily videos.
Subscribe to
vlogs.
Madeline Rose on YouTube now.
Yeah, so they showed a lot, not quite positive at all times. But
that's what I love though. Like you were just putting your
very
stuff
real.
out there. Like I was watching them, like
shockingly.
I'm like, is this video supposed to be on private? Like I don't know. Like should I be watching it?
Yeah, it was. I didn't hide anything.
You know, and at moments I was like, I don't know. If
some of it was like quite inappropriate, like talking about. Yeah, I mean, some of the worst. Well, I mean, probably the worst, and one of the most viewed was me being kicked out. I laugh.
Real life, yeah. Looking back at you, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, it's insane watching it now. I'm like, oh, should this be here?
For the views. Kicked out yellow.
But yeah, that happened.
Okay.
That's a whole topic, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then come this, I had to stop because it got a bit too real.
Okay.
Like I wanted to do it, and I did carry on filming, but I stopped editing.
I remember you. Yeah. Taking a break.
Yeah, I stopped end of October, I think.
Okay.
No. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. So that would have meant I got kicked out in October, not November. Yeah, I got kicked out October.
All right.
That's coming up. A week or two.
Everything is just coming up.
Yeah, soon, right? Anniversaries, and yeah, it got like there was just too much. Like there was a lot of having to declare myself homeless to get help from council and sort of support, because it's not. I know I'm still at my grandparents, but it's not ideal. For a number of reasons, but it's fine. We're just getting on with it for now until things can change. But where was I going with that?
The Mad series.
Oh yeah, that was like the worst, the turning point. And
that was
so,
the turning. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was, because it was like, oh, this isn't just like documenting mood swings. This is now like real shit. This is
shit just got real.
Yeah, like people actually like this is more common, I think, than just having a mental illness. I don't know. It was like more physical problems were coming into like mental. And when it came around to this year, I'd made like maybe one arty video in the space of stopping at the end of October. Right. I hadn't really made anything whilst I was just sort of getting back on track myself. And when it came around to like the anniversary when I started the Mad series, I was like, I've got to bring it back. It's got to come
Season
back.
2? Season 2, let's bring it back.
I'm becoming like the Kardashians or something.
Nah. It's fine, nah. I'm not going to say it.
It's fine. And so then I had the I'm Back video.
I saw that, I was like,
yeah.
I think, did I reach out? I was like, wow.
You've reached out a lot,
yeah.
So probably.
Yeah.
And then after that, I did a week's vlogs again, similar to how I did the Mad series.
That week was crazy. I was just watching, I was like, this is crazy. The content is wow.
I just wanted to show a difference like a year can make.
That's what intrigued everything. I was like, wow.
That's why like at the end of each day I had like the little comparisons, cutting between that day last year and this day this year. Because I think that was the point of it. Like I didn't just want to come back just to show my life. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, there was a point to it, and I suppose that started the new chapter of the kind of content I wanted to make this year, and so on.
And so on.
Yeah, because last year wasn't particularly positive, and it was relatable, and I had like still quite a lot of people reach out and go like, oh, like I feel the same way. It's really good to see you being honest about it. Whereas this year, it's like people reach out and go like, oh, I love seeing how much you've progressed.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. And I get like people I don't even know. Like, I'm not big at all on any scale.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's fine.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. It makes a change from last year when people be like, oh, I'm really worried about you.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now people are like, oh, I'm really happy for you.
Yeah.
But like, I've had people I don't even know like message me with paragraphs like, oh, I'm struggling with the same thing. Have you got any advice? I had one like I was on a night out. It was like 1 a.m. I was like out. I was like out like around the corner,
right.
And I was like, stop everyone! I'm going to the smoking area. I've just got to answer something. Like fully sent him like paragraphs back.
Oh, at 1 a.m. on a night out. That's incredible.
Yeah, got to stop what I'm doing and help.
So that's been like a part of obviously creating content and also just getting the responses from people going through the same things. Obviously being like, oh man, this makes me feel good, and like the future looks so bright just in terms of creating videos.
Yeah, I hope. I mean, I've got a lot more. I don't just want to do mental health. Like I said, I want to do about the gym.
So excited.
But that, you know, filming in the gym, I need to get permission, and I need someone there. All my friends have gone to uni now, so I have no one to like help me film it. So I need to like sort that out. But they'll come in time.
Yeah. You could just be like sneak a little tripod in.
Yeah.
Hide it underneath the chair.
Yeah, like in the vlogs, like when I did go to the gym, we had like little snippets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I was like,
but, yeah, so I do go, but like I want to make the gym videos like good. So I'd want to
high quality.
Yeah.
I see. Like different angles, like one from the roof.
One from the roof. We'll get a drone in.
Can you imagine? You're like this guys and the drones. That would be incredible.
Yeah.
That would be an advert for the gym, not like.
Yeah, that's why I'm
like. You guys need to pay
route.
me for this. Like, I made an advert for the gym.
Yeah, I'm like, so I don't know. It'll come in time, but I want it to be good.
Patience is everything. But so far, like, like you said, just going back on everything's just reaching a year. Looking at the week where you released a video every day, and I was just looking at the comparison thing that you done at the end. I was just like, this is incredible, because it kind of made me realize of a point where I was in my life when I was doing my GCSEs and I didn't necessarily get the best grades, and you know where I am now. I'm like, wow, like I made a lot of sacrifices, I made a lot of changes to get to where I'm now. People might see me, oh, this guy's like really focused, all that good stuff, but you know, it wasn't always like that. We had to put in a lot of work and a lot of time. Yeah. So me just looking at that, I could relate to the process. Yeah. A lot of people, you know, they want to get good straight away, but they don't really necessarily look at the process.
I mean, I suppose like the gym is like a physical representation of like that. Yeah. Like I was like 2 stone heavier. I couldn't lift anything.
2 stone.
Yeah.
Wow. And
like seeing that progression is like a physical representation of how it is mentally. Like you start 2 stone heavier with like a load of baggage, and you've really got to work it to like get to your goals. So like you don't see it because it's in your head, but like, oh man, I do so much in my head. Yeah. That sounds like I'm a mad I do so much in my head.
You know, the meme is like all the man.
But like,
for sure.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work. It's not just a year's like gone by and I'm just suddenly like feeling better.
Every day. Every day is a new day. Like, I think it's just about having that honest conversation with yourself and being vulnerable. Like, what do I really want to do with my life? Yeah. And I was at a point where like I didn't know. Like, I still obviously I'm not really specific of where I'll be in 5 years, but I was like, I want to be success. I want to take care of my parents. I want to have a good life for my children. Obviously that's a bit deep. I'm still 20 years old, but like I was thinking super long term, and I was like, in order for me to do this, I need to like stop bullshitting myself and really just like do what I love, which is creating podcasts, talking to like-minded people. And when I've like ever since I've started the podcast, I've met so many people who I never thought I would meet. Yeah. Like I did a podcast with my good friend Gamze. she lives in France. Oh, okay. So when I started the podcast, I'm like, I would have never thought I would have. So just putting out work, and I create work not for the metrics. A lot of people will create work. Oh, I hope this gets on this this channel or this Instagram account. So that I create work so people can, you know, take away something from it. And if like one person is fulfilled, I'll feel happy. A lot of people, I think, just get distracted by the metrics. I've talked about this before. Like, oh, if this doesn't reach a certain amount of likes, I'm gonna take it off. For me, that was never like my Instagram page. Nothing is like crazy. I'm just doing what I like, and I'm happy. Like a lot of people just need to really just do what they like and be happy, and not worry about someone else's opinion who you don't even really know.
Yeah, that's what my videos have always been about. You know, like, I mean, the ones from last year, they didn't really get, like, in terms of YouTube, they got nothing. Like, it might as well just been me watching them. like
multiple times.
Yeah, I mean, like, they get 2 likes, and I was one of those likes. Like, legit. Like,
I used to tell my little brother, like, when I used to make videos, I used to like my video.
Oh no, I text my brother still going, can you like my new video? Like, my brother came around today, and I was like, have you liked my video? He's like, no. I went, do it now.
Do it now.
And I'll be like, Dad, you don't have to watch it, but just like it.
Just like the video.
But, like, it's not about that, but, like, my old videos, they get, like I say, no views, but I would get feedback from people who I know in my circle, and they're the ones that matter. Like, at this moment of time, like, I'm not making these to, like, become a famous YouTuber. Like, I made a joke on my Instagram yesterday, like, can't wait for my YouTube to explode so I can go to the hairdressers. And, like, that's a joke because my hair is ruined at the moment from that video. Just colour-wise, it's just a mess. But like, that's a joke, obviously. I don't. If that was the goal, you'd never reach it, because you'd always be so blindsided of what you're actually doing.
That's so true.
And, like, if you always just think, oh, I need to be famous, you're never going to do it, because you're only going to be doing things that you think other people want to see instead of doing what you want to do. And that's what people actually care about, is seeing you do something that you care about.
Exactly. The best thing you can do is just be 100% authentic to yourself and the people that matter to you. And that's always been, like, the number one thing with me when creating anything, whether it's like photography, go back to the podcast, or even like writing, and just be you. Like, you don't have to put on like a PR image of yourself, like I'm this, like you are a human, you make mistakes. People are either going to accept it or not, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I think last Mad series definitely proved that.
Mad series was like the embodiment of that. So hey, if you haven't watched Mad series, is it still up on?
Yeah,
it's still up. Hey, if I was you guys watching right now, like,
all views.
Both views like 2,000.
I'm like, oh my god.
Oh my god. I'm gonna have to make this private. Are you gonna start monetizing?
I don't think they would be monetized.
Oh
shit. They're dark.
YouTube.
They're dark.
They are. I'm not even gonna go into it. You need to watch it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Bit of context.
A bit of context for sure. Also, I just want to go back to the video that you made yesterday. And like some of the stuff that you said in the video. Do you want to talk about that video just a bit?
Yeah, I don't know.
Perfect. You said that the video was about, like, your for your psychologist.
Yes.
So they can use it as research.
She wants to, that one and the one that will be coming out in a few days. She wanted 2 videos made to show staff that she's training to work with people with BPD and people to run the STEPS group.
Amazing.
So yeah.
So I'm just gonna be like paraphrasing, because I found the video so powerful. You know, you said a lot of points which I could agree with, and I like some of the stuff you said were emotions I felt sometimes. And we talked about this before in Costa. I'm gonna bring it up. So you had a line in the video where you like, obviously I'm paraphrasing, I don't know if it's like exact, but I have an intense need for closeness, yet I find myself running away from it. Would you like to you wanna explain that a bit?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I was sort of talking from like the BPD route. It's a very common like symptom of the illness, but I know it's common amongst anyone and everyone really.
Sure.
It's not just people with illness that have it. And yeah, it's sort of with BPD, like, we all have really strong emotions, and because of that, relationships suffer the most probably. And it's sort of about how, like, because these emotions are so intense, we all we want is like closeness and like love and all that stuff. But because of, like, say, past experience that may have triggered the illness, like one of the like major environmental causes for it is abandonment at a young age.
Wow.
So, you know, if that's someone leaving or dying or disappearing. Do you know what I mean? And I think so that sort of feeling comes from that, because we have such intense emotions for people, but we're always in the back of our head scared of what happened as a young child happening again, like this trauma happening again.
Absolutely.
It's like a defense mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
Like we want it, but we're not going to have it, but just in case that happens again.
Absolutely.
So I think that's where it's always like you're always bumping heads with the way you feel, because they're always opposing things. And that's why it gets so confusing and distressing, because you can never just find balance in the way you feel.
Balance in the way you feel.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. Like you talked about childhood, how childhood experiences shape your mindset and
Mm-hmm.
like where you are now. And like when I think back to when I feel anxiety, when I feel like just like specific emotions, and I try to think like, why do I feel like this?
Mm-hmm.
It always goes back to when I was like a little kid and
Mm-hmm.
something weird happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, why do I feel scared in this crowded place? Oh, because when you were a kid, like you came, like I'm an immigrant. I came
Mm-hmm.
to this country when I was 6 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and I just remember being in a hotel lobby, being surrounded by people that didn't look like me, and I didn't feel safe. My mom was, so I was like, wow, that's crazy how just like seeing how I feel, just writing it down, just going back to that specific moment in my life. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I always like go back to like just vivid memories of when I was a kid.
You really don't realise how much things that happen in your childhood can affect you as you grow up. And that is like a huge thing with BPD patients. It always kind of stems from something traumatic happening as a child, and that's why we sort of think and behave in certain ways, because of how we reacted like in this childlike mind with something quite serious. And then that kind of just carries on into your adulthood, and then that's why it doesn't quite work, because you're kind of acting like a child. Like if something goes wrong, I might throw a massive paddy and storm out and say I'm running away. Like I've literally done that before.
Wow.
Like be like I'm running, like, and I made a whole plan of how I was going to run away and live in the Wendy house.
The Wendy house.
Yeah, I wasn't living at home. So I was going to run away back home, but live in the Wendy house in secret.
Right.
And that was like my reaction. This was like this was literally like a week before I was diagnosed. Yeah, and I was like, I packed my bags, I'd like done everything. There's a whole story with that day. But yeah, it's like those childhood reactions, because that might have been how I would react as a kid.
Yeah.
And then you like, as you obviously now speaking, I think back and I'm like, why the hell was that the logical response? Was I'm running away to the Wendy house?
It makes you think like, wow, man. And a lot of people, I think, if they just track back how, like, why they feel the same way, or go back to like a specific childhood memory. You also had like a really interesting quote, going back to the video from yesterday, which you guys should check out, Madeline Rose on YouTube. Where is it? It's right here. You said that you get paranoid and overthink to a point where you don't even know what to say to a delusional standpoint.
Yeah, again, I'm sure people can relate, but with me, it's sort of, with like the Wendy House day, what had happened? It's like the whole delusional bit. Ben, who was my boyfriend at the time, hi Ben, if he's watching.
Hey Ben.
We used to work with him. He was getting ready for work that morning. I was at his, and he said his room was quite small and we had a double bed in it, and he said he was getting stressed because he couldn't find something. He was like, oh, we need to get a single bed, I can't like have a double bed in here. And then he left and went to work, and then my head just went, and that was it. And I was like overthinking it, and that's when I was like, I need to run away to the Wendy house, because he doesn't want me, like there's too much room with me here, I'm in the way. So, and like that's what I mean, like it goes delusional, like my logical answer to him just saying, like, and he didn't even mean it, he was just stressed in the morning getting ready for work, we need to get a single bed, like he didn't even mean it.
No intention
no.
You take it to it,
yeah, and that's just like an extreme example, but I'll do it with anything. Like someone won't answer me because they fell asleep, and I'm like, that's it, I'm alone, like no one cares. And then I can go really dark, and like that happened a couple of weeks ago, but I was like, it was like one night where I let myself slip, and I was like, come on, like next day I was like, right, that's motivated me to really like fuck my ideas up again, and that was it. I was like back on it like within the next 12 hours. Whereas before, it'd lead on, that would be like weeks worth of like...
Weeks worth?
Yeah, of like being dark, drinking, self-harming, overdosing, that sometimes. Whereas it was literally like one night I was like really in it, and then the next day I was like, nah, not doing that again.
Like what you said, I talked about this on Instagram a while ago. Sometimes I used to overthink. We overthought to the point of creating problems that necessarily weren't even there in the first place. Yeah. And a lot of people just need to like calm down. And what's helped me is actually writing down. Like when I'm anxious, I'll be like, okay, why am I anxious? Oh, because so and so said this. Or why'd you? And sometimes I just write myself out of like feeling that way. Yeah. And it's something which has helped me. So.
I think like that's kind of like a huge part of the treatment that we're in, is like breaking it down. Instead of just getting wrapped up and running with these emotions, it's like stop. What are you feeling? What's happened? Why are you feeling that way? What do you want to do, like instinctively? And now what are you going to do? Wow. It's like correcting those behaviours. I talk about it a bit in my video that'll be out within the week.
Stay tuned, people.
It's there's like this sheet called a pot form, and it literally like you have like a rating of a pot, and it's like simmering, and then it's like 1 to 5. You rate what pot you are, and then like what happened, what are you feeling. We have like a list of emotions that you can write down. Then you have like your filters, which we learnt about BPT. They're things like abandonment filter or emotional deprivation. They're all like things that would have happened in your past, is why like you're reacting. So like if you feel like someone didn't answer me and I'm like a 5 and I'm like crying and no one loves me and I'm alone, like that's my like abandonment filter, like because I feel like what happened as a child is happening again. And then that's why, even though it's something as minuscule as someone not answering me, and that's like my filter, so that would be active. And then what did I want to do? It could be like die. It could be as dark as that. And then it's like, what did I do? Well, I wrote this down. I watched a video to distract myself. It's all about stopping with the emotion, distracting yourself from it, and then like working from that. So these platforms like slow it all down. And sort of the aim, I don't use them a lot, but the aim is to do it in your head, which I find myself doing. And so that's just one bit of the work we do.
That's incredible. It really like makes you think introspectively. Like I said, it's like with writing, it makes me think introspectively, and just having the pot form or all of that, I think it just makes you like take a breather.
And you become more aware instead of just
being aware,
going with it. Exactly. And then that leads to like destruction
for sure. I just want to get some closing remarks from yourself. Like we said, going back to last year, you were in a place where you thought like it couldn't get any worse. For someone feeling like that right now, like their life is completely like on the edge, what advice would you give to that person? Seeming like you thought everything was just finished. What would you say to that person?
It's something that I always disagreed with in that time, and it is give it time. I hated being told that, but that is like the main thing. Time, it shows you so much, even if you don't even realise. It's a massive healer in a way. I think also mindset. Sometimes it's so hard to change it, and sometimes it does just take time for it to change on its own. But if there are things like small things you can do to slowly change it, simple things like getting up, getting washed, eat, go for a walk, those little things, they'll just sort of take this pressure off. And then ultimately, if you can do those small things, this is, I feel, what happened with me. You can then suddenly see the bigger picture, and then you can make bigger steps, so that you start with tiny little steps. Once you've done them, you can start seeing how to make these bigger steps, and then it will just become a knock-on effect. And then suddenly you're taking like leaps, and you're like, oh shit, this is easy. But it's all just, it's just
baby steps, and developing those beneficial habits that you don't even think about. Like when you really like, they just become habits.
Like,
That's incredible.
yeah, I think I said in one of my videos, is it out? I don't know, I think it's out.
Oh.
Like, literally having breakfast. That sounds so stupid, and I didn't do it, and I had to learn it in one of the groups, have breakfast. And I was like, oh yeah, I thought that was a thing that people do.
Wow.
Because I like just wouldn't get up and then would eat at like 4 in the afternoon, and then it was just a mess. Like, it was just, nothing was in sync. Just having like something to do with breakfast and getting up and washing. All tiny, simple, stupid things that actually
make the difference.
Yeah, definitely.
Incredible. Those small things eventually like build up and become the big things.
Yeah, and that's why I think it takes time.
Patience.
Patience
is key, man. So I think I'm just gonna end the podcast episode up there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I haven't even looked at the camera the whole way. But thank you so much for tuning in to episode 9 with my incredibly talented friend Maddie. It's been a pleasure to have you and share your story.
Thank you.
I hope it resonates with someone out there. I hope you guys took away something. I definitely did. I took so much.
Oh,
I'm gonna go home and just right now. Do you have any closing remarks for where people can find you on social media? Where they can reach out and tell them how much
Yeah, I mean, my YouTube is Madeline Rose, Madeline Rose, and then my Instagram. Not that I post, it's more of just a general Instagram, but it's Madeline the letter R Brown, because Rose is my middle name.
Yep.
Madeline R Brown, Instagram. They're only really the ones I use.
To use. Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 9. Thank you, Maddie, for helping me set up everything. She's incredible. You guys need to follow her right now. You're almost at 100 subscribers on
98,
YouTube.
yeah.
So let's get to 100 people. But yeah, that's it. Episode 10 up. 10. Stay tuned for that. Episode 9 now finished. And thank you guys for tuning in.
Thanks.
See you later.